All right, welcome to another week of the Owatonna Wrestling Podcast. I'm Coach Derek Johnson, and we have by my side, as always, Coach Gabe Hovden, Freestyle Greco Director for the OWA, as well as middle school assistant coach, as well as captain's practice as well as weight room aficionado, spy at Anytime Fitness.
Yeah, spy at Anytime Fitness.
Yeah, whatever we need, your recon everywhere.
I'm that fly on the wall, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to start off, though, thanking our sponsor, Summer Media Solutions, out of beautiful Owatonna, Minnesota. Summer Media Solutions is your local aerial media solution. The word aerial meaning that he's an expert with the drone, does some amazing shots. Once again, please check out all the content. He's responsible for anything podcast related, anything that you see that looks cool, video or photography wise, on Owatonna Wrestling's Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. He does so much great work, and as well as his full-time job, which is doing those type of videography drone sessions for realtors, businesses. I'm sure he does a little residential and personal stuff too from time to time, but just kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to content. So thank you, Summer Media Solutions.
So you had a very busy weekend.
Yeah,
wrestling in general. We all had stuff going on this weekend.
Right. Started with Friday night, the annual Eastview individual tournament for 9th grade team, which went really well. It was kind of skill-based matchups, so ranking them so that they're getting good matches. We went 27-6 as total as a team. And the first placers from that tournament, we had Gabe Robb, Finn Buckley, Jace Feuring, Will Frantesl, Miles Aase, Drake Johnson, Kayla Pastika, and Jacob Ryks. So, congrats to those guys.
I'm going to say, 90% of them, came from the junior high room.
Right.
Not going to pat ourselves on the back down there. Good job, Coach Ewell and Coach Nelson.
Absolutely. Yeah, they were ready, though.
Yeah. I mean, when I came into practice, because I'm always just a hair late because of my job, and I came in and I was looking around, I'm like, did I miss something tonight? And Coach Ewell goes, no, they're all up on the freshman team, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It was a very quiet room. We struggled to roll up the mat with what we had left.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that how well they did up there.
Yeah, that tournament is not so much about building like the actual 9th grade team lineup. It's about sending, as many as you have, 7th through 9th basically. And we just happen to not have a big freshman class that doesn't also, we have a lot of freshman wrestling varsity. So it's like naturally then, that kind of leaves it. So good opportunity, beginning of the year, and we showed well. We did a good job. And then we were, the next day, Saturday, we were in Woodbury. First time going to this dual tournament format. And it was funny. When we originally signed up, it's like, we'll come up for a dual tournament and everything. And we were one of the first teams. And then they're like, all right, Simley's also going. Stillwater's going. Anoka's going. Like, all right, not exactly a warm-up. So, we had Stillwater, number 4 ranked, our first duel. And, got handled. Not making excuses by any means because I think we fought really hard. Our weights aren't exactly set right now. We have still some people kind of on their way down. Max Flemke was given to kind of the all-star team instead of having 2 really good 215-pounders with Blake Fitcher and Max. We said, Max can go and get some other good varsity matches that day. And then, we have Trey Hyatt, one of our ranked wrestlers, is out for the next couple of weeks. They're kind of figuring out his knee and circulation issues, and Logan Risser is down with an ankle right now. So we had a lot of young pups kind of filling in and did a little juggling, and they fared pretty well. Not an easy task to go out there against number 4 right out the gate. But so of that we had our 8th grader Kaden Lindquist, who's ranked number 7 right now at 107. He got a win against Owen Elzen's son, Cade Elzen, ex-Gopher wrestler. And then R.J. Reinardy got a win as well. So,
okay, good.
Yeah. And then Battle of the ranked wrestlers. Lane Karsten, ranked at 133, lost to Brandon Lee of Stillwater. And yet again, I think 9 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10, Lane wins that one.
Yeah.
He's just kind of, the guy came out, ready.
Yeah.
And I think we were just a little sluggish. And if that would have been like match 3 of the day, I think Lane would have been ready for kind of the onslaught that the first 45 seconds were. So.
Okay.
But, yeah. And then we had a Grand Meadow Leroy Ostrander's second round. And we got kind of on a roll on that one. Kind of righted the ship.
You forgot Spring Valley, too.
Oh, yeah, Spring Valley, sorry.
Yeah, it's a kind of, it's kind
They
of like,
didn't even say Spring Valley.
No, they didn't, really?
No.
Oh.
I don't know if they just don't like them or what. But, yeah.
I grew up there a lot in the summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I see the ass, nobody ever says it. It's just Grand Meadow or Ostrander. And Spring Valley.
Well,
Spring Valley is the biggest town out of all of them.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the biggest town out of all of them.
Jeez.
Okay, go on, sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right. Well, and of the 9 matches we won, 8 of them were by bonus points. So we had 7 pins. Kaden Lindquist, Donoven Sorenson at 121, Colton Glende at 139, an 8th grader at 139 at a pin. Riley Kreeger at 152, RJ Reinardy at 172, Blake Fitcher at 215, and Grant Lauer at heavy. So
A couple questions about. We got some more going here. I'll let you finish before I ask about wrestlers.
Sure, and then I had against Anoka, we had our choice. We could have had a little bit of an easier team, or we go up against Anoka. We chose Anoka, and they're also lean. So we're lean and mean right now. We're just out of the rankings. They're also kind of in that same boat.
Okay.
And came down to heavyweight. So we were down 28-29 into heavyweight. Lauer got caught, and so definitely don't put it on him, though, because even in the wins in that one, Anoka did a really good job of keeping the bonus points down.
Okay.
So we won more matches and yet lost the duel.
Okay. So when they got a win, it was a
pin.
Okay.
Yeah, and we didn't reciprocate. Yeah. So, yeah, and former Owatonna wrestling legendary coach Becker was our ref on that one. And it was good to see him. And he made a comment because he's seen our team the last couple of years, and he's like, "This is the feistiest you guys have looked. Like, you're truly building something."
Okay,
here. So,
good.
That was cool to hear. And then so not just Max Flemke did we send to the All-Stars, but we kind of had a 1A, 1B situation. Parker Casas at 139, who went 2-1 on the day on the All-Star team. And then Justin Gronli, he had a tough day. A lot of ranked 127-pounders there. That's not easy. Simley was ranked, and Stillwater's was ranked. So, yeah, that was a
tough
hard
day.
Yeah.
So, how close, because I see Kaden Lindquist is ranked, Lane is ranked.
Yep.
How close are RJ, Blake, and Grant? I haven't seen any rankings. I'm still trying to figure out all these new wrestlers getting back into coaching and stuff. And how close are them three?
I think if there was a lean and mean for individual rankings, Blake is definitely.
Okay.
He was submitted preseason. The thing about it was there's a weird thing. Kuiper from Northfield is only ranked like 9, and Kuiper's the one who's beat him a few times now.
Okay.
And so if Kuiper, I feel like, was higher in the rankings, then they would have pulled Blake with him. Grant, last year I didn't submit him because you know what, he was close and he kept getting very close. He just needs some signature wins. Okay. But I would say they only ranked top 10. I would say Grant's top 16, 17 in the state.
Okay.
And then RJ is just such a wild card, and he turned it on late last year, which was awesome. Made it to state and everything like that. But same thing, he needs some signature wins. He started taking care of business where he should have at the end of the season, so that was great for that consistency. But without those wins, being able to say, well, we beat him and then he beat him and so on. Yeah. It gets tough. Okay. So yeah, it's Hyatt, Karsten, and Lindquist right now. That are ranked. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Well, and then, and I just wanted to point out a few people on JV who went undefeated. Nathan Gronli at 152, Tyler Piotrowski at 172, and then Caden Keller, who that's a good problem to have. So he's also a heavyweight, and both he and Grant are both 280 right now. So I mean they're full heavyweights. Yep. And very close wrestle off. Caden's only a sophomore as a heavyweight, so very, very promising to see. Not to mention that's a weight class that things happen, a lot of injuries. Those are big boys rolling around.
Yep.
So it's always good to have someone right there and stepping up. And we'll for sure here and there throughout the year put Kaden Keller out there as a heavyweight too and get him some good experience.
Good.
Yeah. This week, Thursday, we have our first conference match. So we're at Century with Austin there as well. We're the last two matches, so we'll be 6:30 and then kind of like 8 o'clock-ish. So, yeah, come on over to Rochester Century. Should be a good time. And then this Saturday, we're up in Prior Lake for another dual tournament. So, which will have more ranked teams.
Is that JV and varsity?
JV and varsity, yep. Both are going to be dual format, I guess.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's Prior Lake, Waconia, and I think a couple other pretty tough teams up there. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll take over now for the middle school. So we went to New Prague this weekend.
Yeah.
And that New Prague tournament, I wish they would have had more room. Would have been great because it was varsity through middle school. So there was varsity duels going on the next mat over to where the JV and middle school kids are wrestling an individual tournament.
Sure.
So, I mean, it was schools from all over. It was New Prague, St. Francis, Marshall, Pine Island, JM, and New Prague.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a very...
And they all had middle school age kids?
They all had middle school kids there. I don't think JM had their middle school. It was the only one that didn't.
Yeah, Rochester's always a little wonky about the middle school sports.
So they didn't have any middle school there, but it was interesting because also you could just turn and you're watching a varsity match go on and then all of a sudden look back and here's two sixth graders going at it and it was fun. I mean it was a long day, I'll say, for the first tournament. Some of our new kids were a little. They were confused on how it ran because they're watching the varsity go, and then all of a sudden now we're rolling on all these formats in between individually. So it was a little confusing, but we were all in one gym, so it was good.
Right, and they have the same setup with like the track around.
Yep, around top and the two gyms, and it was a good starting tournament for some of our kids. I think. As me and Coach Euler were talking, I don't think we quite prepared our new kids for what was actually coming at them.
Sure.
It's hard to have the kids go 100% at these new kids in a practice room with them not really knowing how to wrestle. And some of them, they got their eyes open when somebody grabbed a hold of them. But, I mean, they fared fine. I mean, everybody came out fine. That's good. There was a couple of new ones that were a little upset that they lost. Being
a new person.
Being new, and what surprised me is how they were the first ones to attack. They didn't cool. Like a lot of new kids. They back up right away. Nope, and both of them were the girls. The two new girls on our team. First move was forward and grab, outside hook, and on the back of the head, forehead to forehead, and it was like, oh, they are paying attention, so they are learning. So
that's good.
So for undefeated wrestlers, we had Mason Sorenson, who did outstanding. That it's my first year coaching him, and the way he listened. I yelled snap. He hit a snap so hard, the kid bounced down to his hands and knees, came up. I yelled it again. He hit it again. The kid went down even farther. I yelled it again. The kid just bellied out. Didn't want another snap from him. Nice. Got behind him, put on a crossface cradle, and pinned him. So I mean, I was really impressed with how well he heard and listened and just boom, 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 hit it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that one stood out to me. Miles Aase went undefeated. Cole Calhoun, Gabe Robb, Will Frantesl, and then Finn Buckley. They all wrestled great. I mean, I didn't get to see all their matches. I took care of Mat 3. Coach Nelson took care of Mat 2.
Yep.
And Coach Ewell took care of Mat 1 because once they went, they were all wrestling at once. So we couldn't. I didn't get to see everybody wrestle. Kayla, we have her ranked right up there. She's wrestling the best middle school kids at her age. And she's also wrestling boys. And these boys are, I would say, if they weighed enough, they would be up in their high school programs wrestling.
Sure.
They're that elite of wrestlers. She battled. It was great to see. She comes off the mat, no problem. She learned from what she did, and she goes out and keeps trying. Great. And then Ella, help me pronounce this again, DJ. Montagna. That's one of our new girls.
Okay.
That's the one that's one of them I'm talking about when I say she was mad that she didn't win. She wasn't mad that she lost.
Yeah.
She was mad she didn't win. And she trying double legs, trying outside singles. She's literally, I mean, it's hard to explain when somebody doesn't know wrestling a lot, but for a brand new person who's only wrestled 7 practices to go out and have, especially a girl, have a boy that has wrestled more and just come after her, and she just bowled right at him. That's awesome. That's one girl too. If she sticks it out, which I'm pretty sure she will, that's one girl to keep an eye on.
Okay, that's awesome.
And then this Thursday, we are at Farmington Middle School for a duel with Farmington. I don't think anybody else is going to be there.
Okay.
I think it's just us in Farmington, and then Saturday we head to Ellsworth, Wisconsin for an actual dual meet tournament. So we wrestle, each sit on a bench, and
so that's still dual? Didn't that switch to individual last year?
No, it was dual last year.
Okay, good.
I'm
glad it's staying dual.
It's you weigh in,
right?
And it's weight. There's weight brackets at we all have to figure out. We don't do no cutting. If you weigh 130 and the bracket, you weigh 131 and the bracket, it's 135. You're wrestling 135.
Sure.
We don't tell them what the weight brackets are. What do you weigh?
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's what you wrestle. So, we're improving. We're getting better. So.
And don't you get like cheese curds?
Yes.
The winning team gets cheese curds?
Nope, everybody does.
Oh, everybody does.
Yep, everybody
nice.
gets a case of cheese curds. The Ellsworth cheese curds for the ride
Wisconsin's good for something.
Yep.
So, yeah. That's awesome. Well, sounds good. And then, OWA Youth, after almost a month of practice, they went kind of as a team to Medford last Saturday, and Coach Spindler said we had over 25 kids there. Looked great as a squad, had a lot of fun. Like, the most important part.
Yes.
Had a lot of fun.
Yep.
I know it's only, an eighth of a mile away, but still, that's a cool warm-up to do that. And so, that part of the season started where we're earmarking tournaments that we're going to go to and pay for, OWA pays for the registration fees for the entrance and everything like that. So,
well, good.
Awesome. And then, I think you got to mention the gun raffle one more time.
Yeah, gun raffle. I'll mention it until the day we raffle it off.
Yeah.
Coaches, board members, I think maybe some parents selling gun raffle tickets. I do have them out in my truck. I should bring one in so I can actually say what guns they are that we're raffling off. We're raffling off 6 of them. The raffle is on January 18th down at Reggie's Bar. You do not need to be present to win. That's why we take your name, address, and phone number on there. So you don't have to go downtown to win. We're only selling 500 tickets. So once the tickets are gone, it's done. So, it's not like it's a DU banquet where they sell thousands and thousands for 5 guns. It's 500 tickets, and that's it.
Yep.
So it's going towards the OWA, just a fundraiser for us, just to be able to get more stuff to keep kids more involved.
Yeah, so projects we've talked about as the Owatonna Wrestling Association, to give you a little idea, is we're talking about mats for the middle school. We're talking about really want to get to the point where any child, no matter what background or anything like that, we can supply wrestling shoes, we can supply wrestling headgear, things like that right out the gate, things that they won't have to do. Wrestling's traditionally been that blue-collar sport. We've always strived as an Owatonna wrestling community to be the cheapest entry point for wrestling. That's something that's very important to us because we want it to be so inclusive. And so things like this help keep the registration costs down, keeps participation high. And, we're trying to get some kind of cool stuff going we've seen some other organizations around the state that do programs like that, where providing wrestling shoes for every wrestler.
Entry fees for tournaments like the Medford
Well, that
tournament.
too, yeah.
I mean, it helps pay for stuff like that.
Yep. Otherwise, everything else is volunteer basis for the coaches and everything. So, yeah. But we appreciate that, and we have Max Flemke coming up next. All right, welcome back here on the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly podcast. Mentioned it before, Mr. Max Flemke had a big weekend, so being very early in the season, and he was already bulked up for defensive line in football, on his way down to 189. Figured we'll throw him into, they kind of put together an all-star team at this last dual tournament of kind of like 1A, 1B starters, if anyone had them. We offered you up. First match out against Simley, you have number 7 in the state, Danny Martin. He's a 189 pounder, but I mean, basically you were too. You were like 196 on that day or whatever. How'd that match go for you?
So he kind of had me in the first period. He got a takedown. And going into the second, he chose bottom, got the escape, and then I knew I had to fire back with something if I wanted to win the match. So went in, got the little outside single, got my 2. And then just kind of rolled that out for the rest of the second. Third period, I chose down, and then got a nice little escape or a reversal, and got some back points off the reversal to get myself to 7 points.
What did you turn him in? What'd you get for the back points?
I had him in a little how do you call? We were just doing them today.
Like a butcher?
Yeah, I had him in a little butcher.
Okay.
Now, and when you say you wrote out the second period, this has been about halfway through last season on, you got really good at the head lever bust and going down to the wrist and just deep waist and head lever bust and then just driving. Hopefully they're giving you the bar, and you took it a few times and almost got him in that. Why do you like that so much? What draws you to that?
I like the head lever just because it's I feel like I'm not giving myself up a lot.
Sure.
I'm not turning hips. I'm not doing much. I just get my head in his elbow and kind of drive, and it's pretty risk free. And then I just like to chuck in that arm bar. Mm-hmm. Even with Danny Martin the other day, I was giving him the head lever and threw in an arm bar, and then he kind of slipped out of it, and then I got the butcher from there. But I don't know. It's a pretty risk-free move, and then it's just an easy gateway right to that arm bar.
So you feel pretty comfortable holding on right out on the outside there. But you're keeping pressure on him at the same time.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Well, and you do something that we really wanted to emphasize in practice with that is when you're hitting it, it's not so much you're running straight forward with that head lever over the post. You're kind of bringing the hip with you. That deep waist is coming with you and dragging them to their hip as you drive over. So it's kind of like a flat spin you're doing as you bury the head in the back of the elbow. And now, one of the things you struggled with, or it was a little tricky for you last year, was falling to your hip as you were doing it, or trying to bar way too high out, kind of wide and outside. And now you're doing a great job of you let him kind of reset his hips, and as you come back in, you just slip in that bar as you go. And yeah, to work him that way, I mean, you would have gotten riding time in college. That was a solid period. So I wish I could have seen it live. You were wrestling right when we were wrestling Stillwater, that first duel.
Yep.
How'd that feel? I mean, that had to be kind of a weird experience being on a team full of, patchwork where each Anoka was giving people to that, Stillwater was giving people to that. What was that like?
It kind of felt like back to almost my schoolboy duel days.
Sure.
Okay.
So it's just kind of you're thrown on a bench with a bunch of people. You might have seen here and there at tournaments and stuff, but nobody you really knew. I had Parker and Justin, but besides that, I was kind of thrown into the deep end with the bench. So I didn't really know anybody. Kind of was shooting the stuff with some of the guys on the bench for a minute, and then just kind of went out and did my thing.
Did you actually kind of get into it as a bench, cheering for each other, or was it just kind of too awkward?
some people more than others. I was trying to, cheer on the guys on my bench. A little hard, so because I didn't know their names, so I just go you kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, that was a big point of contention actually in the coaches' room beforehand. Was I believe it was Stillwater had one to give as well at 215, and I advocated pretty hard. I was like, I think he's basically varsity on any other team. And so, yeah, Hartung for Stillwater's like, okay, we'll let you have it. Then you go out and thank you for proving me right. That was good. So, how would you had a second match too?
Yeah, I had the second match. It was no disrespect to him, but he wasn't quite as much of a challenge as the first guy.
Sure.
Just kind of took him down, let him up a time or two, and then the little collar tie outside single right, and then put him right to his back, kind of.
Yeah.
So pinned him in the first. It was a good match, but
yeah. Well, so you're on your way down to 189. That's the new weight classes. They shook it up and kind of brought back some old classics, 89 and 215. Sorry, but that's actually, oddly enough, the lightest weight you have ever wrestled up at the high school. Kind of had a big transformation over the years. We brought you up needing to fill in 220 your 8th grade year. Freshman year, you basically trading off at 195 with Fitcher, sending someone up to 220, and now you're going to be at 189. Clearly, anyone who knows you really well can see that you've done a lot of work. What's been the last couple of off seasons been like for Max Flemke?
So this year I kind of really just emphasized getting in the gym, and then even with just last summer, I was doing the work. I just wasn't treating my body necessarily right. So I was going to Black Shirt. I was lifting. I was working out. I was staying active, but I just wasn't eating necessarily what I should have. So. Sure. This year I was really I was going to the gym 4, 5, and sometimes 6 times a week, lifting heavy, really pushing myself in the gym, and then going home eating a good nice meal, a lot of protein, some carbs, and all that stuff.
Sure. Well, in this past spring, right out of wrestling, what'd you do with Coach Egermont?
Coach, he was nagging at me for a while. He was begging me to come throw for him. So I was like, I got nothing else to do, so I figured I'd go throw. Went out through shot and disc, real good time, and then I think I got on his nerves a little bit because there's a few times I was itching to get to freestyle Greco practice right as track was wrapping up.
Yeah. Well, they got to understand that,
They have to.
You have goals in every single sport, basically. And then football. Lo and behold, about halfway through the season, I start hearing Max Flemke's name, not just during garbage time, but in some legitimate plays. How did you work into the starting lineup that way?
I think it was just kind of. I think it's just because it's the little things, and a lot of times I think it wasn't necessarily the big plays that I might have made that got me some varsity time and attention up there. I think it was just the little things. Maybe, I don't know, going hard every rep, every play we could. And then they pulled me up the second game and then just kind of climbed up the ranks from there.
Well, and you look like a completely different wrestler. What have you picked up, say, from football or throwing or anything like that that's kind of helped translate? Are there some? Your D line that's in the scrums, that seems pretty applicable. Has that helped? Vice versa, football and wrestling.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that translates is from football to wrestling. Just kind of that idea of double legs, just kind of diving at those 2 legs, wrapping them up. Because a lot of times when you're on run coverage and you're trying to get through the line, you need to get real low, and then oftentimes the best way to go at it is just dive at both those legs, wrap up, and go from there. and that has helped translated into like getting better at my just kind of blast doubles.
Yeah, can tell.
So, well,
Yeah.
we'll get off the technical part of it. So, what is your favorite wrestling move that you like to do besides just a all around just a move? What is your favorite move?
One of my favorite moves, I really like the arm bar, like we were kind of hitting at earlier, and then I really like the outside singles, just kind of getting out there, getting his leg up on, especially with those low finishes and the kind of high racks.
So, and for a bigger guy doing an outside single, you got to be able to move, and that probably does help out a lot, because a big guy's not used to probably somebody coming around the outside and actually snatching their leg up. So, I mean, with football, and then I know you've been hitting the gym. I mean, I can definitely tell, and when you came at me at captain's practice, I could feel it. I was like, ooh. He's getting some man strength now. Yeah, this is a little bit stronger here. Other than wrestling or sports, what do you like to do, like when you go hang out? I mean, what do you do besides train? Is there anything else you're doing besides training right now? I mean, hanging out, in general, anything. What else do you do in the life of you?
So me and my good buddies, as some of you might know, are like Risser and Nathan and those kind of guys. A lot of what we like to do is actually go to the gym. We'll all go to the gym, get Nathan in, and then like the last time we went to Giliberto's right after, and then just kind of sat at home, played some video games, and
Nice.
did that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Well, and you can tell. So he's talking about all in his grade, and they're all really strong for their grade. It's Max Flemke, Nathan Gronli, who's built like a stinking brick house, just, oh my God. And Logan Risser, who's really also kind of changed and developed, kind of on the same track as you over the last 4 years, where now I know football coaches are frothing at the mouth for how hard both of you hit. So clearly your work and dedication's been coming through, and also, you guys are some of the hardest workers in the room too. You're definitely the most outgoing of those three. The other two, I didn't even know what Logan's voice sounded like for a long time. But that's awesome. That's awesome.
So how long have you been wrestling?
So I started wrestling just a little bit into the season of my 4th grade year. And then
Who got you to come out?
it was actually Scott Sorensen. I was playing lacrosse with Jack, and he came up to my dad and said, "We could use him out there. We need some big boys." Especially back in that day, I was real kind of short and just stocky. Stocky's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
And so we kind of went out there, and I remember the first time I actually took a shot on a wrestling mat was against Landon Johnson. I did my first ever single
my
leg and my
gosh.
first ever double leg on Landon Johnson. And then after that, I just was like, I kind of like this. So I came back, and then just kind of snowball from there.
Good. So I know Coach Johnson here was talking about it earlier. So you got to fill me in because I have no idea what it is. What is a Spotify wrap-up?
Well, so end of the year, if you use Spotify, it kind of here's what you've been listening to, your most listened to songs, things like that. And I know you're a big music guy. You and my son Drake on middle school bus rides would always talk about the fact that you guys bonded over classic rock and CCR and stuff like that. So what's Max Flemke listening to these days?
A little bit of I like some Drake here and there. But my big stuff is really CCR, big into AC/DC, that Queen kind of stuff. It's always just kind of been the music that just gets me going, like that AC/DC or like Hell's Bells. That just gets me riled up, and then I don't know. I like that kind of stuff.
Nice.
See, Ben and Nicole did it right. Love that. Well, speaking of, before we let you go, any shout-outs you want to make here?
My girlfriend.
I was about to say, I think you have to do one of them.
I mean,
Mom.
I do have a girlfriend, but I don't know.
Your mom, maybe?
Shout out to my mom
Okay, good
if you're
job.
watching,
There you go.
probably.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know, not much else.
The people who give you rides to the gym and everything
People,
like that?
yeah, my sister takes me to the gym a lot.
Yeah,
She
Ava.
hates me for it because I'll ask her 5 times in 30 minutes. So I get on her nerves a little
Classic
bit. About
annoying
that,
little
but-
brother.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that. Nice. Well, I'm sure we'll have you back on here when you're state place winner at the end of the season at the very least. Always a good leader in the room, leading by example, always a smile on your face no matter how hard practice is or, whatever go. Love your demeanor, love how you bring people with you. You raise others up around you, so that's awesome. So thank you so much, sir.
And good luck this year.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good luck.
All right. We'll be right back. All right. Well, welcome back. Always loved having Max on here, and he's just easy on the radio. And
Yeah.
not all kids can.
No, he likes to talk.
Yeah, he's a chatty dude. Love it. Well, before we go, also wanted to mention Owatonna Wrestling legend alum, Mr. Peyton Robb. It's already a big enough feat to win the Cliff Keen Las Vegas Invitational not once, but twice. In the toughest bracket, mind you,
Yep.
against number 2 Ja'Cory Teamer from Arizona State in the finals. So therefore, he had the toughest bracket. He also takes home the outstanding wrestler of the tournament. And also, guess what? This is after one of the. He is the feel-good story of
Yes.
NCAA wrestling this year. And if you watch back, Flow Wrestling's been releasing some of these matches onto YouTube. Please go out and see this. For those of you who don't know, he had a really terrible scare right after NCAA's last March. A really terrible leg infection, was, this close to death.
Yes.
And so not only to survive, not only to, recover, not only any of that, he rebuilds himself to be number 1 in the nation less than a year later. And just tearing through the toughest tournament that before nationals.
Yeah, because I think his first match was against the number 4 seed.
Yes.
Or number 4 ranked guy.
Right.
Right off the bat, number 4, he was number 3 at the time.
Yeah.
And then he goes and knocks off.
And takes care of business.
Yeah.
The whole way, if you watch any of his matches from this year, he looks better. And that was the thing that even the announcers were talking about.
Yep.
Like, how does he look better? He nearly died.
Yep.
And he's not only back, but he's sharper, faster, stronger. The conviction's there. You
Yep.
can just tell he's on a warpath now.
And
So.
I don't think anybody's going to stop him this year.
No.
It'll be tough it'll be one heck of a match if they do.
Yes. So congratulations, Owatonna Wrestling legend, multiple state champion Peyton Robb, and we're excited to see you take home the entire hardware this year. That's going to be fun. So, yeah. Once more, just want to say thank you to the Owatonna Wrestling community. Thank you to Summer Media Solutions for everything you do. Keep your eyes peeled for more cool stuff. If you don't follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, please do. We have our student managers posting results live, things like that. Starting this Thursday, we'll have live broadcasts on, it's the K-Fan network of Cows Radio.
So it's 106.3.
Okay, yep.
That's the K-Fan.
That's the K-Fan affiliate.
Affiliate, yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. Yep, so we'll have that firing back up, and also working on as many away tournaments as we can with them. We have some familiar names coming back on the radio. I believe Wade Westfall, and maybe the son of the Golden Voice, Dale Benjamin, Barry Benjamin, here and there too. So that'll be a good time. But yeah. Well, that's another week of the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly podcast. Thank you, Coach Hubden.
Thank you, Coach
As
Johnson,
always.
for
Yeah.
all you do.
No,
I haven't mentioned that yet. This guy does a lot too behind the scenes. He's a goer. He keeps. I don't even know what time you would probably go to bed at night. Or
Let's see.
when
I
you
was
can
clipping
decompress.
highlights from Matt Boss at 2:30 last night. So, yeah. But no, I love it. I love the passion. I love all the people we've brought in. It feels like the classic Owatonna Wrestling, and the fact that we're all on the same trajectory now is
Yes.
amazing.
Yep.
So, awesome. Well, we will see you next week.
Till next week. See ya.
Take care.